So, oh shit, I forgot to do this. Woo-hoo. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So, I was just thinking about the power of anger and pain and dropping the image. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. This is where I'm going with this, because I gotta keep applying the pressure. Doesn't mean you have to listen to me or do as I say, but you got to consider, because you got to know what is stopping you. You got to know why it is you aren't getting the anger, the innovation, and it is a self-induced jail. So I used to justify why some of my Jilly Juice crowd doesn't even vent on Facebook in a dignified, intellectual adult way, because I bought into their enslavement of their image based upon their job. Now, you know, on Facebook, you can have a work crowd, a family and friends crowd, different association crowds, and you can block them from your posts. And so you can have a very specific crowd, like your friends and family, that will only see your Jilly Juice dealing with your issue posts, but your work crowd and your other associations that you don't want knowing your business, they won't see those posts. Okay? And so I was okay with them shining on their situation, kind of making light of their sickness. And then I realized I'm enabling their enslavement to put off an image and not get the power of the pain and the anger. You see, when I was facing the darkness, I was so mad at not only my parents, and you don't have to have abusive parents or aggressive parents to be mad. You can be mad at them being even really nice. Okay? You can be mad at them being so nice and then taking you to the doctor all the time, every time you felt sick, when that wasn't what you needed. You needed to face the pain. Even though they didn't know this, and you can acknowledge that, but you can be angry. Because let me tell you, when you are dealing with the darkness and you are dealing with the pain and you now have finally faced whatever those demons are, maybe people haven't done that, and that's okay, but there's still a lead up to that. You don't have to face your childhood demons right now. It's even facing all the different issues you have right now that can spur you to be innovative enough, to be angry enough, to vent enough, to get a path to freedom, because you're not worried about the image of what you're putting out there to your friends and family. And so how can we educate your audience and ourselves and still fit into the matrix of the image? Money, power, image, and the in front with everybody. No, and the front with everybody is an enslavement. Okay? And I don't even know what the hell I wrote there. I have to rewrite that. I mean, what's the whole point of the JJ mentality if you can't even share your experiences and events in a dignified way that educates people? Some people take offense no matter what. We know that. Because anything you say about their politics or religion and their scientific dogmas, they're going to have an issue with. And if that is the case, if you can't speak your mind and your friends are going to take advantage or take offense to how you think, then they aren't your friends anyways. They were only friends with you based upon the assumption that you agreed with their politics, religion, science, and that you didn't have a thought of your own. So, and even though you are an industry of a customer service industry, this is your Facebook. You can have two different crowds that you post to, like I said. You can categorize people in your Facebook as a person, personal, friends, family, occupation, because if you can't say anything on Facebook, then you are enslaved. And most likely you will not face the darkness. Because facing the darkness also means that you're willing to say something that is totally different. Because how do you change humanity? How do you redirect humanity if you don't say anything? You can't leave it to just one person. Where are you responsible for you being a pioneer in your world? Or if that is not your purview to be a pioneer, then what are you doing in the JJ world? Is it another trendy fucking thing? Your friends, your family, your coworkers, they mean to keep you in a box. And if you want all their buy-in and their accolades, then and their love, then you won't say anything at all. And that will go against the grain. And that is enslavement. And I really have to clean up this. But I was speaking, talk to text. And so when I faced the pain, I really was angry. I mean, I was so angry, and then I just saw stuff. I saw all of the bullshit that's out there. But then that's society. That's how people make money, Jillian, is they have to buy into the bullshit, the image, and all of that. Yes, but again, remember, you have to have boundaries. If you have people that are in your work world that are also your friends, then you don't have boundaries. It means that you are enslaved by, see, some workplaces you can say stuff and they don't care about your politics. As long as you're doing the job, they don't care about your politics. If you're that afraid to be yourself on your Facebook because you have work people, then again, you have no boundaries, and again, you are enslaved and you put yourself in that situation. And so, getting mad. See, I want to see some of you get mad. I want to see John get mad. I've seen him sort of get mad. I want to see Audrey get mad. I want to see Pip get mad. I wanted to see Bridget get mad. That's the thing, is the anger and the pain is such a path to fucking freedom. Not get mad at some political figure like Trump. Not get mad at the Democrats or the Republicans. Not get mad at Klaus Schwab or anyone that's a Jew or Gentile or whatever. I'm talking about getting mad at the fact that you were put in a position to deal with this crazy fucking cancer, disease, chronic illness, and now you are so suffering, and this sucks, and no one should ever go through that. Ever, 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 ever. And that you make your children fucking whole so they don't suffer. You saw how mad I was the last couple weeks, right? It's not just me just having that gift of gab. No, it's the pain and the anger and not being enslaved and wondering how you're going to look on Facebook. Let me tell you, you have it in you. But again, like I said, I mean, do you have to know everything to have the gift of gab, to have the gift of verbosity? I mean, I know I can be very verbose. It's not about humor and sarcasm and love and light. That's the programming. The Greek system and all of their protocols caused your hormones to come to surface. And then you then were programmed not only by your parents, but by your hormones. And then you've been enslaved by that. And the antibiotic sets the programming, and also destroys you simultaneously, to where when you want to become a whole person, you're going to suffer so fucking much. And when you are suffering, then you're going to be angry at your parents who were nice to you or mean to you. You're going to be angry at the medical system and the holistic system. You'll be angry at your clergyman. You'll be angry at your religion. You'll be angry at the whole fucking system. And that's when the system comes down. Not the people who are tiptoeing around their innovation, tiptoeing around them putting it out there. I'm talking about we need to tear the whole system down without lifting a gun or any kind of riot. We need to intellectually take the whole fucking system down. And that right there is what I'm aiming for. Is we intellectually take the whole system down so we don't have any more children and parents and people suffering so much. But again, I know I have to write this. But let me tell you, you guys have the access to it. You've been feeling the pain. What stops you? You've been feeling some of you aren't even working. So what image are you trying to uphold? You don't have to say all the fucking details about your situation. But let me tell you, when you realize that the antibiotics fucked you up, when you realize all the surgeries fucked you up, when you realize your mom, who was so loving and so nice and so this, fucked you up, when your mom was so mean and so this, fucked you up, and you vow never to do that again and buy into that again. And I mean, let me tell you, there's so much opening, there's so much material when you finally face the pain and you finally are able to speak. And so, yeah, I think Bridget was muzzled by her family and friends. And I'm going to say people's names now. So I know Bridget was muzzled by her friends and family and all of her associations. So I get it. I had to release her because I know she couldn't say half of what I wanted her to say because she was experiencing pain and breakthrough infection, but she couldn't really say it because she was muzzled by the people around her. So, and I'm sure even Kevin Van Rompuy couldn't say half the shit because I'm sure his image was important. I'm sure he had people in his world that he couldn't. And so that's why I am alone, because most people have enslaved themselves. I have set myself free, but it meant that I had to get away from people who would take offense to my information. If I were to see them at a party or see them at a get-together on a weekend and I said something about their children, not them specifically, but I said something about parenting, children, and alcoholism and this and that, you would think that they'd want to hang out with me, or they'd be like, and so that right there, and so you releasing yourself from the enslavement of having to put on an image for specific people, okay, will allow you to say what you have to say and redirect. I know you think it's all about you and getting yourself better, but how do people know? How do they know your journey? Do they even know your journey? Not that you have to say, again, everything is none of people's business, but let me tell you, talking about dealing with your cancer, disease, and chronic illness and the fact that antibiotics fucked you up isn't saying too much to divulge your personal business. But when your experience is when you have taken antibiotics and were given antibiotics as a child, and now you have all these issues, somebody in your world is doing the same thing to their child, doing the same thing to their parents, doing the same thing to themselves. You don't think they would get a benefit from your story, just from that story, without going into any gory details of things that are none of people's business, but you would think they wouldn't have some kind of benefit for that? Of course they would. What stops you from speaking? What stops anyone from being angry and speaking? But see, people haven't faced the fucking pain. They haven't faced the fucking darkness. Not enough for them to say anything to give people a mirror on what they're doing in their lives. And again, if you are enslaved by your friends and family, you're gonna be muzzled. And so I think that's my source of frustration, is that the people that are still in psychological, intellectual, physical jail. My moderators were, a lot of my Facebook JJ crowd are and were and still are. And so when you get mad at your parents or guardians or anyone in the medical holistic system that shove antibiotics into your life, and how now you have to go and recover from that years later, well, first you have to understand the antibiotics fucked you up ever since you were a child and gave you all the different diseases you have right now. If you can't even take that on, then you will be all love and light, promoting an image that isn't real, and you're not interested in influencing, redirecting humanity. It's still about social capital and velvetizing your jail cell. So when you write a book in the JJ world, everybody heard the hard luck stories. We hear it on freaking Netflix. It's not really that innovative to be like, oh yeah, well, my childhood sucked, and here's this, and this, and just throw up and say how Julian saved you, right? That's where I can see people go in the JJ world, where they were saved by the J juice. I don't want that shit. That's another, I found religion and here I am, and I was a drug addict and I found religion and religion saved me. That's religiousizing J juice. It's not promoting the suffering and the pain that you have to go through to understand what it fucking takes to be a whole person. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think people are suffering, sort of, and they're kind of talking about it. But again, you know how people half-ass stuff. They'll say anything and do anything to kind of feel accepted. But now it's more than just throw me a few bones here and there. Now this is for you. This ain't for me. This is for you. Because, your being whole shouldn't be about pleasing me and what I want. Now, where are you going to then release the image and the shackles of your friends and family and image, right? So what else can you offer? I've gone through the pain. I'm taking on the angle of the world. Yes, I was angry. I was in pain. I was motivated. What will it take for you? And then what are you going to innovate in our society? So when you finally speak out, when you were afraid before because you're muzzled by an image, and you have finally set yourself free, when you can speak out without being muzzled and afraid that someone's going to think something of you, now you have set yourself free. You see, the New World Order, or not the New World Order, Imhotep and all the different kings and queens have psychologically stifled people, psychologically fucked them up, intellectually jailed them, made them want to have all their friends and families to feel accepted. And so when the group is all about love and light, and then you're kind of angry because you're dealing with the pain of all of their love and light and their antibiotics, you can't say a damn word, because if you did, you would lose all of your social capital. You would lose all of your friends and family, because they are more interested in keeping you stifled and in a religion versus really keeping you alive. They can give a fuck about you. They're consuming you. And so that's why you've seen me release a lot of people who are still influenced by the image. And that's why you see not many people are really innovative in the JJ world. They're not saying anything new except, okay, I'm suffering. Okay, yeah, okay, you're suffering. But what is that suffering doing for you? What's the point of suffering if you can't even say anything new or different? What's the point? Anybody can suffer. They are out there right now. They're dealing with COVID. Anybody can fucking suffer. It's not really that remarkable. It's how you are taking that suffering. What are you fucking doing with it? If you ain't doing shit with it, then don't even do the J-Juice. Don't even bother, because it ain't doing a damn thing for you. It ain't doing a damn thing for your audience. It ain't doing a damn thing for your kids. It ain't doing a damn thing at all. And so that's my source of frustration. So yeah, I like the cheerleaders. They're great. But cheerleaders are, again, you don't know people's intentions. You don't know why they're cheerleading for you. You don't know why they're doing this and that. And so now I'm upping the fucking ante. That's great. Thanks for your testimonies on your suffering. But now, what else? What else can you do for yourself in the world? How are you going to redirect humanity? And when you do speak out and you do say stuff that's going to shock your friends and family, that's what I want. Because then that is where the change is going to happen in your world. Change ain't going to happen when you keep your mouth fucking shut. But people do. People keep their mouth shut. They have an image to put out there. They're all love and light or all about humor or anger at some political pundit, religious pundit, scientific pundit. And that's as far as they take it. That's it. And so no, there is no innovation in the JJ world when people are still playing the games. See, the programming runs so deep. The programming runs so fucking deep that even I get frustrated. And so then I enable people's enslavement. And I did for a few years. I turned a lot of people into little saviors in the JJ world. Unbeknownst to me, but now I realize my mistake. Oh yes, I made a lot of mistakes in the JJ world. I allowed people to turn it into a fucking religion. I allowed people to try to commandeer and stop me from changing for a minute. And then I'm like, oh, hold on a second. You are not the JJ. You are not the leader of the JJ world. This is not a partnership. At this point right now, it's a dictatorship because you are still buying into the old world. And so, yeah, this is how I'm going to run this shit. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. And people have got the fuck out. But then now you see why the method behind my madness, because they were still playing the game of, I want to be a guru. I want to charge for all my services. I want to make so much money off the JJ world, or I want to turn this into a fucking religious revival. And that ain't going to fucking happen. And so, yeah, the power is not only in the pen, but the power is in the voice, in the speaking, even if you don't look good in the first time. Let me tell you, I didn't look good speaking on Facebook the first time. I was speaking to the fucking wall. I was speaking to away from the camera because I couldn't stand to look at myself. I really had that much hatred for myself a couple of years ago, 6 years ago, that I couldn't even look at myself on camera. over the time, I started then finally respecting myself. And then I can finally look at the camera and look into my own eyes and be okay with the issues that I may have had and with mistakes I may have made, and be okay with not looking 100% well, and be okay with all the criticism. But again, remember, people are jailed by, oh, I can't have any criticism. I can't have anybody watching me or screenshotting. And so people keep themselves locked away, and then they don't change. And that's the thing. When you're afraid of criticism and you can't block somebody, and you can't deal with somebody else having, someone else messing with you, that keeps you in a jail. Let me tell you, you know how much shit I've dealt with, but then now I block people on Facebook. People can say whatever they want out there, and they will. Okay, when you are an innovation for change, even in your own circles of people are going to say shit. If you can't handle someone saying something different and then intellectually be able to counter them and back up your position, back up your argument, then you're just a follower. You don't have intellectually understanding why you do the shit you do. If you can't even articulate why you're doing what you're doing, why you believe what you believe, and why you do what you do. If you are so afraid of somebody else saying something, then you're just a fucking follower. And there's so many of those people. Because if it's just Jillian that says everything, then what you're doing is you're then glorifying me. You're then making me the fucking mouthpiece like Jesus Christ. Well, you're also Jesus Christ, Audrey. You're also Jesus Christ, Pip. You're also Jesus Christ, Bridget. You're also Jesus Christ, John. Say something. I know you're not ready for it, but at some point you need to be ready for it. Because why would you be doing the J juice if it isn't so that way you can give people another way of doing stuff? But again, it's when people are ready. But that's the thing. That's what you're working towards. And I may not see it for 10, 15 years from some of you, if at all. Because you got to learn how to speak. If you don't learn how to fucking speak, what good are you as a human? Then you're just a follower. If you can't speak and direct, then what are you? I'm not saying that you got to be a leader or a follower, but I'm saying is you got to be able to teach. Because if you allow somebody else to teach, you allow somebody else to be your mouthpiece, what do you have to offer? Now, I know I said follower and leader, but that's the thing. I don't want followers and I don't want leaders. What I want are people who are angry enough to teach, who are angry enough to then give humanity a different direction. And I'm saying that's like it's a fine line. It's difficult because what I'm advocating is some kind of leadership, but it's not. You're talking about yourself, your experiences. Your experiences are probably somebody else's experiences too. That's why I talk about what I talk about. Because I know exactly what I'm dealing with, somebody else is dealing with, and what they have, and their reactions to whatever they're dealing with are putting them further and further behind the eight ball. Doesn't mean I want them to convert. Doesn't mean that they have to convert. But no, they must see there can be another way of doing stuff. There can be another way of doing stuff. And you are exemplifying there's another way of doing stuff to the people. Because, yeah, you can comment on my page and I'll put it out there on Facebook, but your audience and whatever are not getting any kind of benefit. And they're not seeing even a different side of you. And so I see some of you have people that they're doing the J juice or asked about it, but most likely they're still doing it. Most likely they haven't gotten off it. And so most likely, even though they've been introduced, they haven't seen what it really fucking means to actually face the pain. And so some of your friends that are on the J or were introduced to the JJ are going to stay on it and be fucking cured and then pass away. So what are they doing this for? Or the J juice, the cure wears off and they're still in pain and they turn to their antibiotics. Tell you, there's power in the pain and power in anger, power in releasing the image. And I'm telling you, the JJ is a strategy. So you can bust out of that jail of image. I gotta clean up this stupid post. So many stupid typos. And I'm telling you, there's so much power in the anger. Because yeah, I can write a book. Oh, you can write a book. Doesn't mean people are going to read it. But when you start talking on Facebook and you have people that respect you, love you, and they hear your story without hearing all the gory details, but they hear something that they're like, oh, wow, that's what I've been doing. You just dropped a fucking seed. Doesn't mean you want them to change. No, let me tell you, there's people on my Facebook that will still do what they do. But now they have access to the seed. It probably won't germinate in their world because they're too in jail from their friends and family and the medical holistic system. So you know that that's a lost cause. So that's not even, but you are giving people the opportunity who are in their world and in other worlds that are out there. And so, yeah. So when I released all the jail cells, which are all the people who have an opinion, who have a specific, who have a buy-in to the politics, religion, and science, whatever, when I released them all, and then now I can speak about children, I can speak about alcoholism, I can speak about partying, I can speak about anything. I could speak about antibiotics, I could speak about the medical holistic system, because I don't have any close friends that are in the medical holistic system that would think that I'm attacking their occupation. Oh, hell yeah, I'm fucking attacking your occupation. You're harming people. And so I know it's hard to say, well, I mean, I can still respect you and not agree with your lifestyle, belief systems, or choices, or your occupation, but I can still respect you. But how can you respect someone that harms people? Because they don't fucking know any better. And they don't want to know any better. Because the money, there's money in it. And then it is hard to hang out with people, because then you're wondering if, then you know how people are. If you don't agree with their lifestyle, belief systems, and occupation, then are they really your friend? Or do they think of you as a friend? And then so you're kind of stuck in those kind of worlds where you're like, this is what I say, and it's going against everything, and no, and so that's the thing. You have to really you have to reevaluate your friendships. If your friends are all about drinking and doing drugs and believing in these politics, religion, and scientific dogmas, then you ain't saying shit. You ain't gonna fucking change, and you will be jailed. So then you have to set yourself free from all of that. And you have to redirect and pave your own path. And sometimes being alone is actually a great thing. Am I really alone? Not really. I have my husband. I have you guys on Facebook. That's about it. You're like, wow, that's a lonely life, Jillian. I have my neighbors. You think, oh, that's a lonely life. Not really. It really isn't. It's a peaceful life. It's a freedom that some people will never, ever experience. Ever. And so, but Robert Headley, I appreciate you sharing my videos. I just want to acknowledge you for that. Thank you, Robert Headley. If you can't say something, then share my fucking videos. If you can't even share my videos, then what are you doing this for? Not everybody has a gift of gab like me. Not everybody can speak the way I speak. But eventually you will get a voice of your own, whatever that is. But in the meantime, what's wrong with sharing my videos? In the meantime. Doesn't mean that, you make people watch it. You can't make anyone watch it, but you're dropping seeds. And if my information is offensive to your audience, then why the fuck do you have that audience, and why are you in my world? You could still respect your friends and family and know that they're going to still have their belief system and still drop them fucking seeds. You can do both, you know, it's okay. But if you're, again, muzzled by your image, then you don't have any boundaries in your occupation. You don't have any boundaries anywhere. And you're shining me on, and you're fucking fooling yourself. So I'm up in the ante to all of you. You're too fucking comfortable. All right, bye.